Hey, beautiful souls! Ever wondered why relationships can feel like such a roller coaster? Well, today, we're diving deep into a topic that impacts us all, the consequences of fornication and adultery. Stick around because, trust us, this is some real talk you don't want to miss. Welcome back, wonderful souls, to another heart-to-heart on the Word of Life. Today, we're delving into a topic that impacts the core of our human experiences, the consequences of fornication and adultery. Now, before you think, oh, not another lecture, trust us. We're about to embark on a journey that blends ancient wisdom from Corinthians with relatable stories to shed light on the profound truths about our relationships. You see, in the tapestry of life, our connections with others are woven with threads of joy, laughter, and shared moments. But what happens when we tug at those threads in ways that contradict the divine design? That's what we're exploring today, taking inspiration from the sacred pages of Corinthians, offering a unique perspective on the spiritual implications of our choices in the realm of love and intimacy. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's dive into the essence of our human connections, where God's wisdom meets our everyday lives. This is not just a discussion, it's a conversation about the intricacies of our hearts, guided by the timeless words of Corinthians. Stick around because, trust us, there's more to this journey than meets the eye. Now let's take a closer look at the biblical verses. Starting with 1 Corinthians 7 verse 2, the Apostle Paul is addressing the Corinthian church, acknowledging the temptations surrounding sexual immorality. In this verse, he directs each man to have his own wife and each woman her own husband. It's not a condemnation of sexual desires, but a channeling of those desires within the sacred confines of marriage. Moving on to 1 Corinthians 6 verse 16, Paul draws a profound analogy, comparing the act of joining with a prostitute to becoming one body with her. He quotes the Old Testament, stating, "The two will become one flesh." This isn't merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, emphasizing the gravity of the bond formed during intimate relationships. It's essential to understand the cultural context of Corinth at that time. The city was known for its moral laxity, and the Corinthian believers, despite accepting Christ, struggled to break free from the cultural norms. Paul, in these verses, provides guidance to align their behaviors with the teachings of Christ. The overarching theme in these verses is the sanctity of sexual intimacy within the covenant of marriage. It's not about suppressing natural desires, but acknowledging the divine design for a committed, lifelong partnership. By adhering to these principles, believers in Corinth were not only living in accordance with God's plan, but also setting a counter-cultural example that showcased the transformative power of faith. Now, let's bridge the gap between biblical teachings and our modern lives. In a world where casual relationships are often portrayed as the norm, these biblical principles offer us a timeless guide. Think about it. Breakups can be excruciating, even in relationships that weren't officially bound by marriage vows. In our modern society, the concept of casual relationships and changing partners frequently is sometimes normalized. However, the emotional struggle and spiritual connection formed during intimate acts transcend the contemporary narrative. We can all relate to the lasting impact of our relationships, whether we acknowledge it or not. The emotional weight that lingers after a breakup, the difficulty in severing ties, and the persistence of feelings long after physical separation all resonate with the profound spiritual connection the Bible speaks of. In a culture that often downplays the significance of our actions outside the context of marriage, these teachings encourage us to reflect on the lasting implications of our choices. They prompt us to consider the spiritual and emotional aspects of our relationships, urging us to seek connections that align with God's design. The modern relevance lies in understanding that our actions, especially in matters of intimacy, have a profound impact not only on our immediate emotions, but on the deeper, spiritual aspects of our lives. So, how does this all tie into having a genuine relationship with God? Well, it's about aligning our lives with the wisdom and love that God provides through His Word. When we understand and respect the spiritual significance of our actions, particularly in the realm of relationships, we are essentially honoring God. It's an acknowledgement that our Creator has a purpose and design for the way we engage with one another. Trusting God's design for intimacy and relationships is not just a set of rules, it's an invitation to align ourselves with His wisdom, which ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life. It's about recognizing that God's guidance in matters of the heart is not restrictive, but liberating. By adhering to the principles laid out in the Bible, we showcase our trust in God's divine plan for our lives. We acknowledge that His ways are higher than ours, and His love for us surpasses any fleeting pleasure or momentary desire. The importance of having a genuine relationship with God lies in the fact that it provides a compass for navigating the complexities of our modern lives. It offers a framework that goes beyond societal norms and cultural trends, providing a timeless guide for building meaningful connections and living a life that reflects God's love. As we wrap up today's discussion, we want to leave you with a heartfelt call to action. Understanding the spiritual implications of our actions, especially in the realm of relationships, is a profound step toward building a genuine connection with God. First and foremost, take the time to explore God's Word. Dive into the Bible and seek the wisdom it holds regarding relationships, intimacy, and the purpose God has for your life. It's not just a book of rules, but a guide that reveals the depth of God's love and His desire for a meaningful connection with you. Next, spend time in prayer. Reflect on your own experiences, choices, and relationships. Invite God into those spaces, seek His guidance, and allow His love to illuminate your path. Remember, God's Word is not meant to restrict but to liberate. His desire for you is to experience life abundantly, in accordance with His divine plan. Embrace the teachings we've explored today as a way to honor God, both in your relationships and in the choices you make. Lastly, encourage others to embark on this journey with you. Share the wisdom you've gained from God's Word, and let the love of Christ be a guiding force in your interactions with others. Thanks for joining us today on The Word of Life. Remember, as you continue seeking the Word of Life, you're not just navigating life's complexities on your own. God is with you every step of the way. Stay blessed, keep seeking the truth, and until next time, may the Word of Life illuminate your path.